And since then, things have changed. Can you please tell us about yourself, the Honorable Ashantae Green?
Thank you so much for having me. Like he said, I am Ashantae Green, the Honorable Supervisor of Duval Soil and Water Conservation District. About me, aside from now being a newly elected elected official, I am a wife, a mom, a business owner, and just normal citizen that cares about people and the planet. In my role as a supervisor for Duval Soil and Water, I am the resource for communities and citizens about how to conserve natural resources, how to care for land, and to deal with some of the issues facing our soil and water.
All right, and now let me ask you this. You're in your first 30 days, correct?
Yep.
Tell us about your first 30 days.
Yeah, so the first 30 days were pretty exciting. Aside from going through the normal supervisor training, ethics training, sunshine, laws training, I had the opportunity to attend a number of board meetings. We were able to go over our strategic plan from our local working group last year to set the base of different initiatives that we plan to take forward into the new year. I also had the honor of speaking at numerous of educational events. Today, I actually spoke at the Jacksonville Zoo educators virtual open house to let them know about some of the education programs we have. And I also did a political sign recycling program, the first one ever done in the city to recycle political signs, which is still going on. And I can tell you more about that on my Facebook page.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm about to say, I'll put myself in trouble, but there's a lot of signs in the ocean that need to be recycled.
You gotta drop them off.
We got a new president. And I think it's about time for them Trump signs to get recycled. I'm just saying what I said. That's all I said is what I'm saying. That's all I said. So, but my hat goes off to you because something that I'm being made aware of, Mrs. Green, is that environmental social governance plays such a huge role in accountability. And the way that it was explained to me, when you look at the environment, that's the planet. When you look at social, that's the people. And when you look at governance, that's the politics and the profit. And I believe that we have often undervalued our environmental responsibilities. Or do you have any insight based on your current position and initiatives so that way our city can turn around?
Yeah, very good question. When we're talking about environmental social governance, it's very important as us as consumers, investors, to be mindful of not only the businesses that we support, but how even our government runs. So in the environmental space, we have to understand that it's not necessarily all complicated and scientific like it's pointed out to be. As general citizens, there are things that we need to be aware of that affects us to this day. I know that we hear that buzzword climate change all the time, but in reality, it's the flooding that you have in your backyard on the north side. It's the erosion that we deal with in the beaches area. And it's literally how we communicate with each other on a social stance. But within the role that I'm in with the Duval Soil and Water Conservation District, we have a lot of great initiatives that were happening before I got there and some new ones that I want to push forward. But during the campaign, I talked a whole lot about social equity and making sure that communities that feel the brunt of a lot of environmental issues have education and resources. So one of the main things that we're working on right now is a conservation project on the north side along the S line. It's a project that will not only beautify the area, but it will start to address some of the soil contaminants in that area. The city of Jacksonville actually has a tree mitigation fund. So I'm looking forward to going on a tree tour to plant trees in our communities because some communities are hotter than others because of the lack of trees and green space, and it helps with flooding and all of those things. So Aside from those two things, we have a number of initiatives with the school system. Today, we actually just published a speech and poster contest that will give students money for participating in our speech and poster contest. And more information about all of those initiatives can be found at duvalsoilandwater.com.
Awesome. And before we go to the, how can the people contact you if they have environmental concerns throughout the city? Because even though you were elected for a district, you cover the entire city. Is that correct?
Yeah, so actually Duval Soil and Water Conservation District is made up of 5 elected supervisors. We all help every single citizen in Duval County. So no matter if you live in Neptune Beach, Baldwin, Jacksonville, East Side, out East, North Side, we're here to help you. So the way to get assistance is by filling out our official request form, a request for assistance. That could be advice, technical assistance, a speaking opportunity. That can be found at duvalsoilandwater.com, or you can even email the supervisors individually. My email is agreenduval@gmail.com, as well as my social media. It's agreenduval, because again, my goal is to grow A Green Duval for all.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So please stay with us for just a little bit. Listen, everybody, you listen to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. We got some great guests and some great content coming up. So please stay locked and stay loaded. You listen to the Impact Radio Show.
Awesome. Ms. Ashantae, I am Pastor Randy L. Sewell, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, I pastor out East, Solid Rock Baptist Church. It used to be Little Rock Baptist Church.
Where's that one located?
On Van Buren Street.
Yes.
What's the
is one street over from Gilbert Elementary.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
I was looking at some land over there for a community garden, so maybe we can talk if you have any space.
Yeah, I have plenty of space.
All right. Now, do you have any initiatives that you want to share with the folks before you log off, Ashantae?
Yeah, I have a few more that I can go over.
All right. So I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes when we come back, and then if you have to go, that's fine from there.
Hey, can you go ahead and give me your number, Mrs. Ashantae?
Yeah.
This is recorded.
Yeah, I'll put it in chat.
Put it in the chat.
All right, thanks.
And Dan Evans says hello, Ashantae.
Hi there.
Hey, how you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. It's good to hear you. I just gave him my card to let him know that I was on the board. All right. Hey, I'm going back to the control room.
All right. Welcome back. No. Welcome back to the Impact Radio Show presented by the Florida Star newspaper. You're listening to Young, Gifted, and Black. And we got Miss Ashantae Green with us. And she's going to lay out a couple of initiatives that she has coming up. And we really want to be proactive and not reactive when it comes to making sure that we're developing a lot of areas in our community. And we got to take the environment serious. And I would love to see some urban farming, some aquaponics, some hydroponics. I mean, I would like to see the hood turn into almost like a fresh produce section. I mean, that's like one of the things I would really love to tag team with you on, as well as the other board members, because I want our young Black youth to know that, yes, you can buy food out of the grocery store, but that's not where it comes from. And but yes, I'm gonna yield some time to you. So go ahead, Ms. Ashantae, talk to the people. What initiatives do we have?
Yeah, so as he said, I've come over my 30 days. 90 days is going to be very exciting and provide a lot of opportunities for citizens to get involved. The first thing I would love to share is that we have our board meetings, which are open to the public on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. We publish the link on Zoom. And we also have planning committee meetings and a local working group. Those things are very important to be made aware of, because as new initiatives come up, you have the opportunity to pitch your ideas, to get involved, and just make a way for your neighborhood. One of the initiatives that I'm very, very excited about that I'm actually bringing up at the next meeting is a task force and a kind of local working group to talk about food insecurity and sustainable urban agriculture. One of the main questions I get is, how can I do a community garden? What resources are available? And we want to provide that resource and education there. And April is Earth Month, and we're working on a number of community initiatives to educate and just connect people back with the land. And the last thing I want to share with you all, this month, Black History Month, the Duval Soil and Water Conservation District is highlighting the contributions of African Americans within our area in environment and agriculture. The last nugget I want to leave is George Washington Carver.
I was just about to bring him up. You
okay.
You stole my thunder. Go ahead. The ancestors are pleased with you right now. The old and new ancestors. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, so George Washington Carver, we actually have George Washington Carver Elementary. I'm looking forward to working with them and bringing forth some education for soil. In school, we were taught about George Washington Carver. When you hear his name, most people think about the peanut. They think about peanut butter. But in reality, George Washington Carver is the reason that we have access to food in the South. Yes. He's pretty much the father of soil restoration, because he was the gentleman that realized that planting peanuts and other nitrogen fixing ligaments reserved and preserved the soil after cotton. The crop pretty much devastated the land. So I just want people to know about George Washington Carver and other people that look like you and me that made substantial contributions to environment and agricultural history. And we're highlighting that this month as well.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much, because with George Washington Carver, a lot of times when we look at Black brilliance and our contributions, not just to the United States of America, but on a global level, one of the things that I share pertaining to George Washington Carver is that you look at different modalities of learning. You have audio, which is hearing. You have visual, which is sight. You have tactile, which is hands-on. You got Montessori, which is like group learning. And then you have autodidact. The stuff that George Washington Carver was doing was so revolutionary that he was going beyond what was thinkable or fathomable at that time, and he was self-taught, which is what autodidact means. And I put him in the same category as Frederick Douglass, meaning that when he was born in slavery, it was illegal to teach slaves how to read, but he was autodidact, meaning he taught himself. Malcolm X, he was asked, by a lecturer, which college did you attend? And he said, books. I read books. And as you know, he educated himself in prison. He was autodidact. And the first successful neurosurgeon to separate conjoined twins at the brain, where both lived and survived, Dr. Ben Carson. And when he was in his Ivy League college and university for med school, he said, listen, I'm not learning anything in this class. Let me study on my own, and then I'll come here and take the test so you know I didn't cheat. He was autodidact, and that's dealing with a lot of Black brilliance and self-discovery, which isn't always highlighted in traditional school settings. So please do not knock your children if they don't learn like everybody else. Find their learning style and capitalize on it. And who knows, they might even be the next board member for Soil and Water in Duval County.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, all right, so that was Mrs. Ashantae Green. She gave out her contact information, and we're also going to add that to our hyperlink on social media. Pastor Sewell, I'm going to turn it over to you for some words of encouragement. Talk to people.
Yeah, listen again.
Luke chapter 11, my brothers and sisters, a friend had shown up to another friend's house at midnight. And so if the truth be told, this is the time of day that we are living in now. It's midnight in our own nation, midnight in our own city and state. And yes, there are those who may feel like Charles Dickens, who wrote, "These are the best of times." But then there are others who may feel like these are the worst of times. And then others may cry out with Thomas Paine, "These are the times that try men so." So my brothers and sisters, whenever one reads the life and work of that Danish philosopher, Søren Kierkegaard, you can clearly see that anxiety pervaded his thoughts as well. For Kierkegaard, the meaninglessness of his existence fills him with anxiety and with despair, a sense of hopelessness and deep depression. And so I end with this. My brothers and sisters, there is no doubt in my mind that there are thousands of people, believers and non-believers alike, who feel like Kierkegaard, that their existence is meaningless and futile. And because of this, they find themselves desperate in a midnight situation. And so, brothers and sisters, there is hope. This text teaches us that if we keep persevering, we will discover that midnight only lasts for 60 seconds and morning is just around the corner. Keep pressing on.
Thank you so much for those powerful words of encouragement. That's Pastor Randy Sewell. On the line, dialed in, we have Mr. Ernest Culbreath. Mr. Ernest Culbreath coming out of New Brunswick. I like how you put that, New Brunswick. Bold steps, the vision will produce the New Brunswick, representing the Royal Minority Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Culbreath, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, we're so honored to have you on the call on tonight. Please, and if you don't have the latest newspaper, Mr. Culbreath's article is on the cover story of the Florida Star. So please get up, get out, and go support the Florida Star newspaper. It's Florida and Georgia Star. So talk to us, Mr. Culbreath. Tell us about this bold new vision.
Well, the vision that we have here in Brunswick, that we're looking to move forward into a new order of things. The old generation that kept the minorities and the black down, we want to push that aside and go forward into new things with new ideas, new thoughts, and new way of doing things. The old way should be disregarded, and the new way should be ushered in. And what we are planning here in Brunswick is to start with environmental friendly industry that will allow us to prosper and move forward and show the world that Brunswick is here and we just arrived on the scene and we're here to stay. And all the inhabitants of the city of Brunswick will benefit from the New Brunswick.
Yes, I love it. And I see how you talked about solar, Tesla, technology, electric cars. And Brunswick is a port city. And so I can see, it's like I can kind of see what you're saying, but can you kind of elaborate just a little bit more on all the different opportunities that are going on up there in Brunswick and South Georgia?
Well, the opportunities with Tesla and things, we have a lot of raw land. And we're willing to, in our case, we're willing to take and venture out and talk with Tesla and develop the solar panels, as well as biodiesel and other industry. We're just here. We got the three most important things that it takes to have these industry. We have a superhighway in 95 that runs right straight through the heart of Glenn County. We have the waterfront, which is 45 minutes from international waterways with beach, Savannah and Jacksonville ports, by being able to get the international waterways in such a short period of time. Instead of 3.5 hours, you got 45 minutes, you're there. And we also have airports that we actually have two. One is on St. Simon Island and one is in North Brunswick. They can easily be used, realize, to bring in anything that we need to accomplish the goals that we have set forth.
Awesome.
So this is where we are.
And now I was talking about the Black economists here in Jacksonville, and typically for our studies when it comes to economics and trends, we typically have to go to UNF. I would love for our Black institutions to be premier when it comes to economy and growth. And I love your vision because I believe that we're all in this together. Even when we start looking at interstate and intrastate distribution, why not maximize our relationships in close proximity from Jacksonville to Brunswick? And how do we reach you to kind of to put some feet to this to where we can partner with you from Jacksonville and Duval to kind of bridge that connection, Mr. Culbreath? How do we partner with you on this?
Well, I have an email that which basically everyone does have an email address that you can email me. I have a telephone number that you can actually call me any time of the day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I hope to be able to answer the phone. I can give you a number that you can call and an email address that you can use. Actually, it's two. So let's start with our email. I can be reached at, which is all lowercase, ECUL, which is BRETHB@att.net. And it's the same address at gmail.com. It's eCulbreath@gmail.com and at att.net. These are the email address. The phone number still is 912-399-0479. That's 912-399-0479. These are the primary means of communication with me.
Yes, and I'm going to call it out on the radio one more time. That telephone number is 912-399-0479 because we got Miss Ashantae Green on here in Jacksonville, and she's with our Soil and Water and talking about cotton. Those are cash crops, you understand, and then even in South Georgia as well as Florida, when we start looking at citrus and collard greens and field peas, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Like, like because like I said, who are our Black agriculturalists? Who are our Black farmers and butchers, and how can we feed some of our most struggling food deserts throughout the South? And I see so much opportunity because once you get to Duval, we got I-10, so we can take it east and west. We can take it coast to coast, once we get it here. And like I said, there's so many different things that we could also be exporting as well. And I just see so much opportunity, Mr. Culbreath. And I see that you reference Maynard Jackson, the revolutionary, the innovator out of Atlanta. So it seems like you have a blueprint for success for the city of Brunswick.
That's true. We take Maynard Jackson as one of our leaders here in Georgia, one of the great leaders. Also was Dr. King and a few others there. There were great leaders, and we need to follow exactly what they were stating, what they were doing. Maynard Jackson, to me, was bold and very brave. So was King, but Maynard Jackson just put it right out there. So, okay, this is what y'all going to do when y'all get these contracts. And if you don't do it, you won't have a contract. And he was true to his word. He tore up a lot of contracts that didn't have Blacks that was included. And this is what put us out. But now we're going to be the ones that issue out contracts ourselves. That's what we hope to do. We're going to get through this smoke screen that we can't do it and land upon the seas that we can do it. We will do it, and we are doing it. So this is what we are. This is the attitude that I have. And this is what I think that all Blacks and women, minority, or whatever you want to call them, should have, that you can do it. That's not fall preview to this old way saying that, well, you can't do this without going to see this one. No, that one that they say we need to go see, let them come see us. Yes. And we're going to change it. We just simply going to turn it around.
You're right about it.
And we're going to be on the top.
Right on. Power to the people, Mr. Culbreath. And listen, quick public announcement. Tomorrow, February 5th and February 6th, Clarence L.T. Brown Senior Center, 4575 Moncrief Road, 32209. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., they are issuing out Pfizer vaccines, but you got to have your ID, and your birthday has to be between January to June. That's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Clarence L. Brown Senior Citizen Center. Saturday, bring your ID for our senior citizens, and your birthday has to be between July and December. That's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Friday, February 5th, and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday. But your birthday has to be between January through June, tomorrow, July through December on Saturday. And dial 904-739-7500 for transportation. As I always say, knowledge is power. Knowledge of self is powerful. Knowledge of God is a source of all power. Get up, get out, and support the Florida Star newspaper. I love you. God bless you, and good night. Woo!